All right. We're back. Midjourney Fast Hours podcast. What's up, everybody? Friday afternoon, Valentine's Day, and I'm spending it with none other than my man crush, Rory Flynn. What's up?
Nothing much, man. Actually, just looking out my window in front of me, I'm like, why is there a semi truck on the sidewalk? This is New York. I don't know what's going on. Faye's crying. This is Valentine's Day in Brooklyn, I guess.
This is Valentine's Day 2025, everybody. I wish I had an extra day, dude. I've got so many things I'd still like to do before the weekend.
Yes.
I'm sure you feel the same way because I know you were traveling, but
Facts.
here we are.
Back after, what do I want to say, 36 hours, I think. Quick stint down to Alabama, which I will say, by the way. Have you been to Birmingham before?
I have. I was actually there not too long ago because Illinois played Alabama in college basketball at the beginning of the year. We went out there for that. It's maybe like a 2-hour drive. Wasn't too bad.
It's real. I'm digging the city. I was like, this is pretty cool. This feels like Austin without like the corporate tech bro sort of like environment that's kind of built up there.
I didn't get to like explore, but like we did a dinner before the game downtown. It was pretty cool. I mean, the place we ate at was really good. There were a lot of like older buildings that, like typically they've been replaced with new buildings, and the whole architecture thing is just like the new shit looks so terrible compared to older historical stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised by how many like historical buildings were up, and it was very cool. And then we went to a bar pregame right after that dinner, and it was awesome experience. So
I was loving it. I was like, everywhere I walked, it was like, oh, here's this old factory building that's been turned into something cool. I stayed in a loft that was probably like 2,000 square feet, and it was like $80 a night. I'm like, I love this. And then like, seemed like everywhere I went was the same thing. The food was really good. The coffee spots were great. I was only there for 36 hours, but wherever I went, that was in a 0.1 mile walk of me was like, exceptional. So shout out to Birmingham. Good stuff. I could see that place getting a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
that. I might actually have to look into that a little bit more. It's meanwhile, Heavyweights.
Dude.
I don't know what
jealous you watched it.
I can't remember how that got going. I mean, but you
were wearing a hat that said "Buddy" the one day. I think.
No, I know. But
okay.
Like, I'm just trying to think like how I got started on that last night because like I watched the whole thing again last night. I was like, man, it's been a while. It's overdue. And dude, I mean, just amazing stuff.
I think I was reading a fan theory one time that Tony Perkis is whatever the guy's name is in Dodgeball. It's like his dad or something.
Yes.
It's like that's supposed to be the whole the transition there, which is just two American classics right there.
White Goodman, right?
White Goodman, that's it. WHITE.
Or maybe I think the theory was that's him, and he had to change his name.
Oh, I like that too.
You know what I mean? Because at the end, he gets sort of exiled, right?
Yeah.
And he goes broke anyway. So he probably had to reinvent himself.
So this is what's interesting about Ben Stiller is Ben Stiller does that, and then Ben Stiller is also producing Severance right now, which I think is one of the better shows on television. I am dialed in. Last week's episode, killer. I was like, this is great TV. Something about Ben Stiller. Don't know what it is. This guy's good. Guy's all around. I feel like he's got a little darkness to him, which I kind of like.
He's so good in Heavyweights, dude. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't get talked about enough.
No, I mean if there's one line we said more than anything else as kids, get on the scale, get off the scale. That was so perfect, such perfect timing.
Lars,
perfect scene.
Lars, let's introduce ourselves and learn each other's names and. We already know each other's names.
Buddy. I mean, we screamed that for 6 years. We still scream it. Like, we used to do that when we go out to the clubs. So we're looking for someone to scream Buddy.
Oh, my God, dude. Oh, Idiots. My God.
Just guys being dudes,
I mean, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen Heavyweights, do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
It's on Disney. I think it's also on Amazon Prime, maybe. So check that out. But oh man, what a banger! You know, 1995 Prime. You know, like that time where these types of movies got made.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get this shit anymore.
No. There's nothing made for the kids that are between the ages of like 7 and 15. There's like
oh, here it
nothing
is,
made
dude.
for
Here's
anymore.
that theory that you're talking about.
All right.
Here.
There it is. Fans have a theory. Ben Stiller's character in Dodgeball and Heavyweights are tonight is a really nice series. Time-wise up.
Time.
Don't
But-
you know, don't shit on a good thing. You know?
Why is this though? I don't remember that being tied to 93.
Yeah, me either. I don't remember that at all.
Because I was thinking, this is early Tony, reinvent to later Tony. Also, perfect idea in theory that he goes into hiding, he gets depressed, right? Remember, White Goodman's whole thing was he was overweight, fat, lazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Reinvents himself.
Whoa.
Right?
A little bit over the top, a little bit extreme. I love that little, like, I love the Heavyweights. Same thing with all the 90s movies, like that saturated sort of like
Here it
Kodak
is.
Ektachrome feel.
Yeah.
What does that say? Is defeat Cam.
Fell into a depressive, self-pitying state. Couldn't cope with the fact that the fat kids beat him. When his dad dies, he leaves his fortune to his son, who gets into shape and reinvents himself. Opens up Globo Gym.
It's perfect transition.
I mean, dude, I'm not going to believe anything contrary.
Right. So here's another one. Am I late to the party here or totally ignorant? But I saw an interview with the creator of The Matrix the other day, and The Terminator is the prequel to The Matrix. Didn't know that.
Also have heard that one. Also
I mean,
have heard that
from
one.
the horse's mouth there, I was like, I didn't know that at all. Do I it's like I
What was that?
feel
That was
so lost sometimes.
Matrix and Terminator, right?
Yeah. I believe, what's it called, is Neo's mom. What's her name? Can't remember the main character's name right now from Terminator.
Sarah Connor.
Yeah. Apparently she's Neo's mom or something like that.
Terminator movies are prequels to The Matrix. Prequels?
Prequels. It's before the machines take over and then they harvest us for energy or whatever the hell. Matrix,
Did you end up watching Matrix 2 and 3? I can't even remember those. Really?
So good.
Were they really?
Matrix
I
2
remember,
is sick.
Maybe I might have to go back and revisit that.
You have
I
to.
remember The Matrix very clearly. I remember trying to watch 2 and 3, and I don't remember anything about it.
2 is great.
Okay.
2 is action from start to finish.
Interesting.
But like, they're like if you want to think about plane movies, whenever I'm on a plane, like I'll inevitably get sucked into something like The Matrix, like any of the trilogies or stuff like that, because I don't know what it is. I just like to go back and watch that kind of stuff on.
I might
planes.
have to revisit that one.
Is there something about action movies on planes? Like I don't know what it is. It's just like it's the only thing I crave when I'm on
Really?
a plane. Like, I don't want to sit there and watch something slow. I don't know if maybe I'm in a heightened state of anxiety or something because I'm in a metal tube in the sky. But it's like I'm just like I want action movies and that's it. I'll watch.
I usually look.
blockbuster stuff. Yeah,
I usually look for either the movies that I've been wanting to see that I haven't gotten a chance to, and they have them, or something like I just would never spend the time watching at home. But I'm like, I'm in the air, I'll watch it.
Yeah. That definitely that. Like this morning, I watched Superbad because that was on there, and I was like, you know what?
Super bad.
I would like to laugh today. Another great one. Just
Dude, love that.
Basically, like anything from the I put on because the hotel or the room I stayed in Alabama didn't have standard cable, just smart TV. So I threw on Role Models yesterday too in the background. Another classic.
Which one's Role Models?
The one with Paul Rudd. And,
Yes.
Yeah. And
Where the dude's pretending to play the swords and the knights and stuff.
live action role playing. Yes, another absolute classic.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. That's a good one. I haven't seen that in a while.
There was a run of all those good movies between the what was that, like the mid 2000s and like 2015. There was like everything was just funny.
I think earlier now. I think it was like the early 2000s.
Yeah. It's like starting at like Anchorman and Old School and like going up until about 2015, 2016. Then it kind of just like fell off a cliff. We don't get funny stuff anymore. We don't get dumb stuff. Something to keep me and Drew happy, just like idiot comedy. It's great. It's good for your soul. You don't have to invest yourself in it or think. You just laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on with the AI world, man? What are you digging? Obviously, we did launch those premium mood boards.
We did.
Dropped
Seems like people have been having fun.
Link in the previous episode, along with previous episodes to that of mood boards. We'll probably link it here as well for that. But gotten some really awesome feedback so far. We haven't really pushed it that far, but the feedback we've gotten so far has been pretty awesome on it.
Hell yeah. Been fun. We'll have more of those coming. I still can't get out of the mood board hole. I'm like in it so deep every day. I don't even know what you guys would like. I have so many now. I don't even know what to do with them. I
don't either.
So much creative ADD. It's unbelievable. But there's so much going on right now. Like I did a 5-hour training yesterday. I spoke for 5 straight hours on this stuff, but going from everything from starting with images, going through video, going through all the other, sort of ancillary tools. And then I showed, like, after all, got a lot of questions and everything was like, it still looks AI. And then I dropped the video from VO that I did on the fishing stuff. And everyone was just like, after 5 hours, they were just like, no. I was like, I just walked you through everything that we do to get there. They were just like, there's no way. I was like, yes, it's real. I promise. Or it's fake, meaning that it's real. That we did it all with fake stuff.
Right.
And they were just like mind blown. And I'm like, these are really, really talented people. Great questions, awesome vibe. For 5 hours to have people sit there and like be dialed in, like crazy. VO is just like, it's been next level as of recent. I did something the other day with it that I couldn't believe I got in one prompt, which was like projection mapping of vintage F1 footage on a car.
Yeah, that was dope. I still don't have access to VO.
It's very I think they actually just released it on YouTube Shorts. I think you can use it on YouTube Shorts or something along that line.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I saw something about that.
I saw a tweet like that, but that's really smart for them, right? They want people to use Shorts more, and people really want to use this tool. So there you go. Now that's how you get people to use a product. You put this type of awesome product in there, which I really don't, I wonder if that's going to be part of like their enterprise play. Because if that's in the mix with everything else as like Google Suite, that you get everything.
Yeah.
And that's included in there, I'd be like, yeah, sign my business up for that.
I mean, that feels like a very smart move. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it, but that seems logical.
Have you played with Imogen at all?
No.
It's actually pretty good. Like coherency wise. It's all text prompting, right? Like a lot of these tools that are still, fairly new, it's all just still text prompting. There's not really a lot of reference imaging. You can't have a lot of creator control. So, if you can go deep on the text prompt, or if you even care to go deep on a text prompt tool like Imogen, Frames is kind of the same way still, right? Like you have a lot of control, but you gotta put some effort into it to get what you want. It's not a bad thing. Like I really like Frames, like a purely creative way. Like you can do a lot of cool stuff. It's just the only thing that becomes a barrier to entry for me sometimes if I'm going to choose that over something else. Is like, do I have to write a paragraph right now?
Yeah, that's what we talk about, right? It's like the mental expenditure of just text prompting.
I like it. Don't get me wrong, and like I don't want to feel like I'm lazy or anything when it comes to this stuff. But it's like sometimes I just want to like start smaller and then build up to that, versus like having to start bigger and then work my way down, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And at the same time, not get discouraged if you want to start small, right? Of like ultimately not feeling like you're going to get what you're aiming for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of been it's been interesting to play around with all those tools to come back to Midjourney even more, right? Like it's like I like using Flux. It's fast, it's clean, it's good. It just like doesn't scratch my like wow factor itch. If it gets done what it needs to get done, like I need to train a LoRa model and things to look consistent. Great, got it, exactly what I needed. Thank you. But then that's it. Then I stop playing with it there. I don't go like any further. Korea, the rest of the tools I'll go and have fun with. But yeah, Midjourney just go to for fun, just to like figure out if I could do stuff.
Well, speaking of, I messaged you. Maybe it was yesterday, 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
I know when V7's dropping. I know for sure.
Inside info coming in hot.
Inside info, it's when I'm on vacation.
Yes, always.
Just go ahead and book that. And it
Mark
lines
it
up
down.
perfectly, right? I think I'm on vacation like that very first week of March. Boom.
Well,
Because we already got that delay. Are we going to get it into February? I always think Midjourney's going to have that one final like pushback moment. So if it's still aimed for end of February, I'm thinking it's going to be that following week, right?
it'll that or it'll be like a Tuesday night at like 11:30 p.m. You know,
The worst part though, I'll be on a cruise, so no internet access. Shut me off. Like what's going to happen is I'm going to disappear and then all of a sudden reappear, and V7's already like going nuts. You know what I mean? Like that. That is absolutely going to happen.
I'm gonna have to mark those days off. Be like, all right, just clear my schedule because Drew's away, and I know what's gonna happen.
Jeez.
That's the deal. Well, I've said this probably on other episodes. We're both like, I feel like we both do the same thing. This new stuff drops. We're like, meh. And we come back like a week later, like, holy bleep word, because I don't want. Maybe I cursed on this already. Stop dinging us for that, YouTube. Seriously. But the way that they do it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's that exact like 2 or 3 days, especially when you're like off port and you're not you're like in the middle of the Caribbean.
Dude, it's
somewhere.
100% going to happen. I'm already, and it's probably good that I realize it now. I can start to prepare myself emotionally for that letdown that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you happen to sit on the last office hours? I couldn't make the last one. I'm assuming you were probably
was in
busy
the
with
air.
your stuff too.
I was flying during that time. I tried to tune in, but like, you know, I bought the I sprung the $12 or what it was for streaming on my phone and I just like, of course it didn't work. So I'm like, great, just wasted $12 to get internet to you know, kind of
Get your shit together with that already.
I don't think it works in the small planes. It's like one of those like 3-seater or the you know, the 2 on one side, 1 on the other. Like I don't really think the Wi-Fi works on those planes. The bigger ones it does. The little ones, I don't know.
I think that's right. Who did you fly with too, by
Delta.
the way? Oh, see,
Yeah.
Delta's usually pretty reliable. Yeah, so I think you
Always
might be right
good.
there.
It's just those small planes. I don't know what it is about them. The internet never works. But regardless, I'm curious because I didn't. Did you listen to it? Were you?
I
on
know
it?
I didn't. That's what I was saying. I had something going on, couldn't make it. I'm looking at the notes right now.
What do
So
we
I'm
got?
thinking what we do is I'm going to bring them up here. I'm just going to open a quick doc and we could drop these in and then we could just talk through them and see if there's anything that stands out here. So let's do that. And boom. Okay.
All right.
Haven't gone through these, so some of this stuff may not apply. Multiple potential versions of E7 are under active research.
Omni reference.
Key flagship feature under consideration is Omni Reference, enabling faithful integration of supplied images, aka logos, characters, objects, into new inputs.
Okay. I would guess this has to be done the same way. I just have a feeling character reference is going to look a lot like mood boards, or object reference, or omni reference, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it's just going to be the same way. They've been doing it very similar, but that's interesting.
And then look at this.
Certain views like,
So it seems like that's something they want to get out ASAP.
that's the game changer for them. That brings everyone back if it's good. You know, everyone that's just like, I can't do consistency. It's like, all right.
Here's your
if it's
video feature exploration of at least 3 different paths, partnering with external companies. Oh, okay. We did already know that. Adapting open source models or building a Midjourney specific solution. We already know all that.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to go into what they had decided to do there. Let's see. We already know this stuff with cost and how that affects their decision-making process with that.
I was hearing some mini max rumors. I think everyone can just take them at that. They're probably just rumors. But if I was thinking who the perfect match was for Midjourney, like in terms of if they were going to partner, to me it's definitely Minimax. Like that's like Minimax.
Tell me why you say that. Tell the
'Cause it
listeners
has-
why you say that.
It has a creative streak to it where like you can give it minimal and it'll do a lot.
Yeah,
with
that's
it.
true.
Kling, I love Kling because Kling is so damn precise to what you tell it to do, which is like, you know, that's what you want when you're trying to be precise. But then there's also like the fun aspect, which is where I like having a little bit of fun playing with the tools. Minimax definitely has that. Especially like with something where it's like a camera pans left to a guy running down the street. It's like a guy's like running down the street. They'll add like explosions. It'll make him move in really funky ways. And I'm like down with that because that's not like I don't need to have control at a certain point. I want the AI tools to take over a little bit and sort of put their own spin on it as well. I personally think that's just a rumor, but if I could see it going that way,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, because I mean,
cool
that whole I like, what's the deal with these partnerships with China? You know what I mean? I haven't seen any partnerships with China, so I have no idea. That seems very unlikely, even though it's.
He dropped a hint on that.
Oh,
right?
did he?
I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago. He said something like, "I'm very fond of like the Chinese models and the way that they just kind of like push the boundaries and stuff." And I was like, interesting thing to say. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? He also did say,
might be
there were a couple other
Hunyan too.
things.
Yeah, the open source ones.
There were a couple other things he said too about
Drop a
that
little
China talking point. Yeah.
I would love a Midjourney Minimax team up. I would be very on board with that.
I think I would be too.
Yeah, Minimax is just too much fun. I haven't made a dumb video in a while. I think it's time to get back to that.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm craving it. You know, Pikachu doing drugs and stuff. When do you get back to the fun? Speaking of that, have you ever seen the videos? I think most of them are made on Minimax, but they're like videos of like fish or like Arctic creatures or stuff that like it's obviously AI, and it's like, you know, there's this random fish that this like Chinese fishing boat caught, and you're like, that I've never seen that before, and it's like massive. You never seen that on Instagram? They have like millions of views. But I was listening to sports radio this morning, and one of the co-hosts was talking about how he got sucked into these videos because he thought it was like there's like this parasite barnacle or something that they're scraping off whales and polar bears, and then he starts showing everyone on the show. He's an older guy, and they're just like, dude, this is all AI.
This is AI.
Yeah,
jeez.
It's like perfect. We've infiltrated, you know, sports talk radio now. You know,
yeah,
infiltrated everything. But
man, it bums me out. We can't prompt for Trump on Midjourney. I mean, directly.
You can.
Directly.
You can. There's other ways around it.
Right.
You can do it right on Grok if you want to. And then just
I know, but Midjourney though, come on.
Midjourney's been having some way tighter moderation lately.
They have.
Certain things.
I was trying to dissect one the other day of why it was flagging something, and it wasn't. Yeah, I don't even think it was one of those external images, right, where that's got the kind of like even tighter limitations on the moderation. But it was like I had the word like mucus in there. And I was like, because I was taking out one word at a time to figure out what it was. And it was like, yo, really?
Yeah.
Really?
There's very, like, especially on mood boards too, when you try to add stuff, it's super sensitive. Like, it won't do anything that's even remotely. Like, even like a woman in like a bikini, it's like, nope, not doing that, not going into your mood board. It's like, okay. It's like, why? Why do I get nudity on like 1/3 of my outputs, but then like I can't use stuff for people in clothes?
Give us this though. I'm ready for the organization.
Yeah, definitely.
And then here you go. Improve selection tools for the built-in editor, potentially segmentation. I don't know what that means, or layering are in development.
I think that would probably be like your smart select, right? Like for segmentation, layering would be absolutely great if you could just select like sort of like the foreground, midground, background, would just like regenerate.
Yes.
Around it. Would love that.
God.
What is like the obsession with this large batch? Like I feel like he's been talking about it for a long time.
Don't know. I don't need any more than that.
No, 4 is great. I don't like. Yeah. Does this mean like bulk uploads? Does this mean, is that what people are trying to do? Like, I don't understand what the big batches is. Just like, oh, you get 8 images instead of 4.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what happens if you typo? Like, these things to me, I'm just like, that's not that excited about it. Don't really need it. There's a way for them to run through more fast hours, I guess.
This is another big one that they need. Overdue. Overall interface refinements aimed at streamlining user workflows and project organization.
Here's a simple one. I was giving this presentation yesterday and trying to explain chaos to everyone, and then like having to go to the website and like, here, it's actually, you can set it in your settings, but it's called variety, but just remember that it's called chaos and it's called variety too. Just like choose one.
Yeah, they changed that at the beginning when they launched the website. Change that back.
Yeah, just like you know, just either like pick a lane there. It's been simple. It's like a very simple
You know what we should do?
sort of thing.
Let's go ahead and put our short list together. Let's post it on X. Let's tag David and Midjourney, and let's see what happens.
So we can scream in an empty gymnasium again.
Probably.
for everything. Oh man. But that one to me is like so simple. Like why why rename it in the first place? I mean, whatever. But what was the other one? Keep going.
I was going to say, here's another interesting section. I did hear a few things about this, even though I wasn't on the call, but the hardware stuff. So multiple hardware-related initiatives are underway. We've known that, but including the acquisition of a large warehouse for constructing devices. At least 2 major pieces of hardware are in dev, one that might be worn or used on the body and one that is large enough to require significant space for assembly. These projects are still in early R&D stages with plans for public announcements once they move beyond the conceptual phase. Intent is to explore unique intersections of AI, creativity, and physical tech without becoming vaporware.
Huh? So wait. What is vaporware? Am I behind on?
I'm an idiot too. I've heard it before, but I don't know what it means.
I don't even know. You guys can call me a noob or whatever. I don't know what vaporware is.
We'll look at it. We'll chat GPT it. So it refers to a product, typically software, hardware, announced to the public but never actually released or significantly delayed.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a lot of significantly delayed sort of pieces in the mix here. Way too many. But what is it? Hold on. I don't know if you could just hear for whatever reason, YouTube in the background just started playing an ad and it like totally drowned you out. I don't know.
Did it really?
Yeah, I totally missed the secret hardware projects. So we have at least 2 major pieces. These projects are still in R&D. Blah blah blah. I don't. Like remember when they were talking about the orb or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah.
Like in whatever. I don't even remember what the idea was behind that. Like it was just like here's something you can create on an orb, or it's an orb projector, or like I want like an R2D2 projector, like from I can just like project like my images into real life. It's like sort of or I could do like a Tupac sort of like fake concert with a rendered projection. That'd be real fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, very very Project Bluebeam of me. But do we even know what Project Bluebeam is? Is that too YouTube rabbit hole for you?
Well, I do. I don't know if our listeners,
right.
but yeah, dude, yeah. That makes sense. You and I are on the same page with that stuff, but
yeah. If anyone who doesn't know, Project Bluebeam is essentially a fake alien invasion. That is run by holographic projections so that they could everyone could get scared and the governments can just take over us. But if you haven't gone down a YouTube rabbit hole and found something like that yet, like God bless you, your algorithm is outstanding because mine is a dark pit that is probably very similar. Maybe Midjourney siphoning information from my YouTube algorithm.
That's what it is
for my personalization codes.
That's what it is.
There it is. Data sharing at its finest.
What I was gonna do is, okay, I got it pulled up now. Yeah, I was just gonna show. I didn't get I'm doing this live on the show, guys. So forgive the prompt, but speculate on what the outcomes are for this. What are the most likely outcomes, right?
Wearable AI, huh? Interesting. I didn't think they want to play in that large scale creation hub, interactive. That's what
that kind of
about.
Right. That's
I'll take
kind of
that.
Yeah.
Sign me up. AI plotter for.
I just don't see 3D printers being there yet in terms of the mass adoption and usefulness.
AI driven creative tablet and integrated. What else?
These are the newer ones. Let's see. Creativity Workbench, large display unit.
Hey, voice to image generator. Remember we talked about that probably like 20 episodes ago?
Yeah.
When are we just going to talk to it?
Yep.
Like kind of how ChatGPT has what is it, voice to text, I guess, or not voice to text, voice to whatever to answer.
This was something I've thought about before. Like how could you sort of blend real world with AI, right? So that could be. And Midjourney's going to do something novel here. Some of these ideas aren't super novel. Like they would be. like if I had more time to prompt this, I'm sure we could probably get things that are a little bit more likely. However, I think there are a few in here that definitely could be options on the table.
I just want I want all the stuff that was promised to me, like the Tony Stark, like interactive sort of, all that stuff that we thought we were going to have in like 2010, like interactive screens that are just totally virtual and I can just like move things around with my hands. Like I want to do that. I want to. Hopefully, I'm not dead by the time we get some cool stuff like that because that's going to be fun to play with.
I think we're going to be around, dude. I hope.
We could have said that the iPhone would change a lot in the last 15 years, but here we are.
Here we are.
Same thing.
I mean, if we had Steve Jobs, it'd be different. It would be different.
That dude. I get a lot of Steve Jobs videos on my algorithm now for some reason. Don't ask me why. So
it's just the way that he explained things. It's really good. I mean, he was not only just a good talker, but he was a good doer.
Yeah.
Well, the whole package.
Speaking of that, he had a good one. I'm not one for business sort of like motivational speeches stuff. Like I think that stuff's all fairly hollow. My opinion, guys, don't hate me for it. But like he was talking, I got a video the other day just about how, and I've always had this opinion, like how they almost failed when they hired like middle management that had never done anything before. And they were like managing the people that really cared about the product and they had never done anything themselves. And he was like, I'd rather take people that don't want that job and just work really hard. And then they end up being forced into that role as a manager. Like that's the same thing coming from a sales background where I was like, I don't want to hire salespeople that don't know the product. Like I'd rather have someone that's worked on the product for a long time. I could teach them to sell better than I could someone who sells and just like doesn't understand technology or marketing or anything like that. Because it's just bullshit at the end of the day. So I always was like,
he's got so many of those good ones. Like there are a lot of those good videos. Some of them I've seen so many times just pop up in the feed, but I always feel compelled to watch no matter what.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Shoe Dog on the Nike side?
Yep. Good
Same
one.
kind of thing. Like, those early days of Nike and Blue Ribbon Sports had so many like of those signature moments.
Yeah. That book gave me like a little bit more. I liked the beginning portion of it more of like kind of like the ideation around it. I didn't really know the backstory as to where he was going with it. But then it was like, it kind of just like, it felt like it happened really quick. It went from like nothing to something very quick. And
could you imagine though, like, because if I remember, and I don't remember all the details now, but early on, he was trying to, the partnership was through Japan.
Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to start a business at that period of time in that specific business where you had to go back and forth to Japan and have partnerships there? Like,
you had to know someone.
Insane. You know what I mean?
You had to find someone that had contacts there because you couldn't just go to Japan on a whim and like find a shoe manufacturer. Maybe you could. I don't know. It seems like a little bit more of the Wild West.
What was the brand called? It was like, was it Tiger or something? It was.
I forget, but that was like that initial portion to me was the most interesting of like how it just like sort of quickly pivoted from track and field to like basketball, and that was really interesting. But there's also there's a bunch of great books like that. Like I said, I'm not like one for super like motivational business stuff, but that's a good one because I like Nike and I like that.
I think it was this. Yeah.
Onitsuka. I probably butchered that. Don't hate me, everyone.
Would later merge to become Asics. And I'm pretty sure, here, early partnership with Nike in the late 1950s. Right?
Crazy.
After he traveled to Japan where he contacted convinced the company that their product had a market in the U.S., received his first shipment, 63, right? And you're just like, 63 for shoes with a partnership from Japan, like it's just wild to think about. Yeah. But those early days, like I always go back to Nike had that, what was it? Like a manifesto.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
We love a good manifesto on this show.
We do. Look at this.
I know people who've had that like on their wall as a poster.
So good.
I love We're on
So
Offense
good.
all the time. That one's my favorite because it works so much better than people think it does. Like if you're always pushing, like you're getting somewhere, you know. I always loved that one. That one always like stuck with me.
Energy takers versus energy givers.
Yep.
Living off the land. Your
Yep.
job isn't done until the job is done. Like, yeah. For those of you that haven't read that book, Shoe Dog, great one. Great one.
Also, make sure people keep their promises. Like that one, to me, if I have not kept a promise to someone on this show, just let me know. I really try to. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Like I don't like to be that person because I don't.
If you don't have integrity, you don't have anything.
Like if I said it, and even if I don't want to do it, I'll do it. I just don't want to I don't want to be that person that's just flaky. I hate that. Just like that. Something about that just gets me. Like really in my core. It's just like, just say no then. Most of the time, just say no.
Man.
Don't say yes and then don't do it. But,
I agree. So I mean, like, going back to office hours, I think really that's probably about it. If I were to take a guess based on this, it was probably a lot of questions being answered, and it was probably just focused around this hardware stuff. V7, current progress, probably 3D. Right? We've heard about 3D too, but. Yeah. I mean, so, that's why we went so hard on mood boards last couple of weeks. There just haven't been many updates. And now we know once V7 comes, it's just going to be boom, boom, boom. We're going to get that. There's going to be so much to dive into, explore. We're talking about 3D. We're talking about video. We got, those two as separate, but also with V7, you've got consistent characters. You're going to have, how does this what do they say? Omni reference piece of it. How does that work? OREF.
OREF. Again, these are, and the way we're going to do this, I'm guessing everyone, if you're listening at this point, we're probably going to do this in a bunch of different steps because we tend to figure stuff out as we go along. We're going to still do our episodes every week. Maybe they're live. Maybe they're, same way we kind of went through this stuff with mood boards where we'll learn stuff as we go and we'll just keep going. Whatever we learn, we'll just throw it out there. You guys bring it back to us also. Whatever you're finding, let us know because we'll test stuff.
Rory, I think we were talking about this too. I think next week we're going to try to do something live. It feels like a good time to do that right before this starts to really speed up.
Yeah.
Let's take some questions. Let's talk about what we're looking forward to. Let's troubleshoot. Let's share some knowledge. Let's have a community discussion around it. So I think we're going to set that up. I don't know what day yet. Should we do it for Friday? I don't know. We'll
I feel like Fridays are good. If everyone else can get on there, because Friday's maybe a little bit more low key.
Let's see if we can do Friday somewhere around the middle of the day, and I think maybe that's a good game plan going in.
Yeah,
but I mean, we've been talking about doing that. I think that would be awesome. Long overdue.
Yeah, we definitely want to get. We haven't done one in a long time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a good format. We always enjoy those.
That's how we started this, right? We were doing some of those. It's just like, man. People love this stuff.
And we like it too. That's the good thing. It's not it doesn't feel like a burden. It's just very easy to talk to everyone who's about this stuff. That's why we keep doing this because you guys are awesome. You keep comments on YouTube. Definitely I laugh every time because I feel like I know when some of them are coming, and when we get them, I love it. Makes me happy. So.
Yeah, man.
But. What else have you been playing with anything lately? Any goo? Anything of that sort?
I'm looking right now. So I mean, I think what I've been doing a lot of since last week is focused around my stuff at Goldcast. So we've got a brand campaign that we're going to launch here shortly. Whole thing on basically stop sliming, start shining, right? So getting away from slimy selling and starting to think about how to get mind share with marketing and sort of going about it from the golden perspective, the Goldcast way. And so I'm starting to think about how we visually storytell that using things like Midjourney, right? So let me give you
bring it up.
I guess a sneak peek of some of the stuff I've just been playing around with, right? Just thinking about certain objects, assets. We've got a video where a slimy sales guy, he goes through a transformation during this commercial process where at the end he's wearing gold, right? And so
nice.
Just thinking about transforming from a slimy jacket to a gold jacket. Thinking about assets like this where it's okay, we could create this standalone, put some AI video firepower behind it, and turn something out like that. So like I just been playing with a few things like that.
That gold jacket's pretty legit. I also have an SREF code for you if you want a little.
Give it to me.
It's like a reflective gold SREF code. I got to go find that one.
Yeah. Shoot that over. You know what? That makes me. I feel like I've had one too. We did so many of those style codes.
Yeah.
I mean, I might need to go back and look, but also, like going back to how we really got into this stuff, right? Like our origin stories. Like we shared this like at the beginning of our podcast, but one of the major things for me was like the incorporation of how that worked into the business aspect. And like we had a whole campaign back in early 2023 where I used, Midjourney for a lot of the assets for the landing page, for swag, all that stuff, slides, blog images, website stuff. Perfect example too. Like if we're going to build this out, this whole campaign, this takes the shape in terms of like swag, actual things, right? Like, so thinking about things like little slime stickers,
Nice.
Little gold sticker, like just stuff like that. So really just trying to ideate, play around with that stuff and see what's possible. That's about it. Honestly, there were probably about 3 or 4 days there where I didn't even get to touch Midjourney. It was just crazy. But yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of nice little reflective gold. I like that little gold brain.
This little guy,
nice. Dude.
Yeah.
Look at the texture on that. I would never be able to get that with my personalization code ever. It would never give me that nice smooth texture.
Oh yeah,
it never does.
Really?
Even the other ones that I tuned. Did you notice that they like update every once in a while? Like they just they kinda change
yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that just started happening, right?
Yeah, it's like my global profile like changes when I haven't ranked an image in a week. Like it just changes to something new. I'm like, when did that happen?
It's like stuff like this too, right? Like just starting to play around. Yeah, just starting to play around with some ideas. Like, I'll pull.
Did you use the Goo mood board on that? I see.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't because the Goo mood board is really just colorless.
Oh.
Goo. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't have any other colors in there. It's more like a clear goo. But that could be a good idea for a future mood board that we drop in there.
There we go.
I'll run that back. But yeah, like ended up creating like a couple of videos of like this stuff. I did use frames for a couple things, right? Like, so thinking about taglines, operating off 2 screens here, which is really just a hot mess. But
I did like that brain swing chair.
Yeah, just like
that.
Like going back to the point, it's like some things. Like if I got to post about B2B marketing stuff every once in a while on LinkedIn, the best way to maybe attract some additional attention is just like scroll stopping stuff. Going back to how you and I started, kind of with some of this stuff, right? It's like, let's throw something on the feed that people haven't seen.
Refresher for anyone that's doing content on any platform, especially LinkedIn. If you have to do content that you feel is boring every once in a while and you just have to throw it out there, just throw a random image in. Doesn't have to make any sense with the post. Just do it to get people to stop. It's like the best thing you can do for social media. I hate to say that, but
totally,
like, doesn't have to make sense.
Throw something up there. I was going to so let me switch screens here. Let's just like there was a couple taglines we had too, and I was just thinking about just ideating on certain things like how to show them, right? Like so like no slime zone and just kind of like having some motion here. Like just started the beginning part of ideating how this kind of rolls into the mix. So I was playing around with Runway for that. I created the image in Runway was my point, right? Because of the lettering and the text, right?
Does text
frames
really well.
does it? Yeah, it does really good.
Really well.
I think I ran this a bunch in the image side, and I think 9 out of 10 got no slime zone correct every single time. Maybe even 10 out of 10. I mean, it was very, very dependable. So
I like, Runway for I was actually talking about that in the presentation yesterday. I'm like, text is not. I'm not doing text in Midjourney. Like I'm going out elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like look at these. So this is not cherry picked, right? Like these are just all. I mean, you can see it's got the text right on all these.
Yeah, which is a hit rate, which is pretty damn good.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
So
because then you can play with it as long as it can get the text. Like I've gotten like 8 words in some cases on on frames, like pretty clean. I
Have
know
you?
people will probably be in the comments like, you can use ideogram. I'm like, I'm just not an
I,
ideogram
yeah,
person,
I hadn't pushed it. I hadn't pushed it that hard. But then I just take that and then I'll run them across different video things to just kind of see what, which ones I like best in terms of like how they're going to respond to it. I would say like a trial and error week for me. Like I'm just testing some things out. There's a lot with this campaign that I think really caters well to visually storytelling, especially with things like slime and things like gold. And how we're going to communicate that message. Same with like mind share marketing, which is like a big piece of what we're trying to drive from a brand perspective. So that's probably 90% of what I've done between now and the last time we talked. What about you?
It's good. I've been playing with. I'm in this VO rabbit hole, which I think, I did something about 2 weeks ago that was like very realistic. Like I wanted it to be realistic. I did a video on fishing, and to me, like,
it's really good.
Really, like really solid in terms of realism. As I'm doing it, I'm like, there's no way anyone could possibly get mad at me because there's no way anyone that does an outdoor brand would use AI, because that sort of counteracts the entire idea of doing like outdoors things, which is like, why would I fake that? And that's why I'm like, there's no one that can get mad at this when I do it, right? It's not like you're taking away people's jobs. I'm like, no one's going to go and do this with AI because it would be such bad marketing for someone that, for like an outdoors brand to do that. Personally, being someone who fishes all the time, if I saw that, it'd be like, why? Like, you have enough content of people outside doing real stuff. Like, you don't.
It would have to, yeah. You'd have to, yeah.
So,
I agree.
That's what I was doing. I've been playing around with it a lot. It got something the other day that I was just like, this is crazy. Maybe I'll just bring it up. I don't know if I showed this on the last one. When I was playing with the projection mapping, the F1 car.
No, because you did it a few days ago.
Let me see if I can find this right here.
So whenever you bring this up too, I would love to. I think this would be really good for people to get into your head a little bit. Would love to hear about how you came up with the idea. How did that idea generate? How did you decide that this is what I'm going to try to do? And then how did you go about creating it?
Yeah, so it was Super Bowl. There was like a really quick promo for NASCAR. I think it was for Daytona 500. And they just had like this NASCAR in the studio, and it looked like it was surrounded by TVs or something, or like old footage. And I was like, that's cool. What happens if I wanted to put like vintage footage on a modern car? Like maybe that would look really cool, like F1 style. Let's see. The entire screen. And like I just ran one prompt with this. First shot, it worked, and I just kept hitting run and rerun and rerun. But I was having too much fun.
Like when you're thinking about let's like, I really want to dig into the prompt creation part of this.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you start from scratch on this? Did you have anything that you referenced in terms of how you might use the language to describe this? Like, what did that look like?
So I built a GPT for Veo because I'm like, it needs a lot of details, and I sort of want like a thought partner with it. So what I did was I saw a bunch of the like suggested prompts. Like if you go on, I'll give everyone a little quick sneak peek of this. I don't think I'm breaking any rules here. If I am, Google, I'm sorry. Don't hate me. It's basically, if I was going to show you, it's like you can do text to video, right? Or you can do image to video. Image to video, you have to create it in Google, so it's not like you can bring your own in. So
Got it.
You have to like do everything within the actual tool itself. But I was just doing everything text to video. So see how there's like these suggested prompts here? I would just take these, and then I cataloged like 15 of them, and then I put them into a GPT and said like, let's deconstruct this a little bit. So what I found was there was a lot more like emotional sort of description in here than typically I would put in. It's way more narrative driven. And I was like, all right, so let's build the GPT. Like basically, let's go with like a standard prompt idea, like based on this formula. Then let's give me a second prompt, which is more broken out into like sort of how I like to prompt with that, like shot type : this.
Yeah,
that
just
would
to
work.
separate it. Yep.
Yeah. And then the third one, I'm like, all right, let's do like a little bit more experimental sort of creative flair direction with my idea. So it's basically like, let's give me 3 sort of options here. Standard, kind of robotic, and then a little bit like slightly varied. And then I'm kind of I go in there and describe what I'm looking for. And then I was like, oh, I take a look at the prompt. I'm like, I feel like I know what's going to work and what's not going to work at this point after testing it for so long with the fishing stuff. So I was like, yeah, it sounds good, but I'm like, I really want like this to be, I want it to be like grainy TV footage. Like I don't want it to be like super sharp. Like I want it to be like old vintage footage, and I want the car to look really new. So it took I'd say it probably took like 20 minutes of me like sort of like getting that idea out and working through it on ChatGPT. Like can we add like some static interference to it? And it was, the funny thing was I hadn't seen ChatGPT respond like this in my little GPT before in my generator, and it was just like, this is going to be so killer, and it like sent me the prompt. it was like excited about it. It was just so weird. And then
hilarious.
I dropped it in, and it just ran the first time, and I was like, come on. This is asking. So if anyone hasn't played with the video tools, this is asking a lot of the tools to basically projection map vintage footage on a car and like keep it locked in. Like this would be, I personally don't know because I've never done this, but I had a lot of people reach out to me who were, VFX artists or 3D artists or things like that. They're like, dude, you know how long that would have taken in reality, like if you wanted to do that project? And I was like, I hope more than the 30 seconds it took to generate. But like, so I'm not tooting my own horn here. This is all the tool. I just worked on the prompt, right? Like this is just like, I couldn't believe it was able to do this. But, some people might be impressed by this. Some might not be.
Here's the thing. What I take away from that, I love how you're really interacting with the LLM in that sense.
Yeah.
To get to a GPT or something like the way that I think about GPTs in general, if there's something that feels like a repetitive task or something I'm going to use a handful of times to infinity, it probably makes sense to go ahead and build a GPT for it. Like at this point, because building a GPT isn't hard. It's just, can you provide it with the guardrails? It's the way that I think about a GPT. Actually, it's just like the longer form prompt.
Yeah.
That again, you're going to use repetitively in the future. And so you've given yourself like this this siloed space just for that specific thing.
Yeah.
So I love that you did it like that. Also,
should I hit play on this?
Hit play.
Maybe it'll
on
come
this
back.
Boy.
All right, let's just watch this.
Second, Mansell third, Reutemann in fourth position, and it looks as though we're getting go at Vandermont, and thank heavens we are. It's PK, Fielder, Mansell is third, Reutemann is fourth, Jones is in fifth position, and that's the first hurdle successfully, and thank heavens cleared. No trouble there. I think we missed that. A wheel off. Now that's Mark Shearer on the right. Let's try and identify which of the cars it is, because Bruno Giacomelli is number 23. It was Mario Andretti. Mario Andretti hitting the barrier, and Andrew De Cesaris. That's positive identification. Well, that was the most gentlemanly bit of Formula One driving I've seen for a long time.
So 52 seconds. How many separate video assets do you think you had for that?
Oh, I had probably 30 because I just kept pushing enter. I was like, they're all good. See if I can actually pull up the prompt here. I know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you actually? I'm sure you did, but you put in an exact model and year. I would guess.
No, not exact model and year. Just like
no.
I was this one, which was actually great because I wanted to see if I was just lucky. But then like people started doing it on Twitter, and I was like, oh my god, it works for everyone. So it's just, I don't know. It was very, very intriguing. Let's pull this prompt up, because I think. Then I started going to run this on everything else. I'm like, let me go try this on everything. I didn't get anything really close outside of Minimax, and Kling got a little bit. Sora was kind of weird. But we have a McLaren supercar, sits in a dimly lit studio. It's sleek, polished body, reflecting flickering footage of vintage racing history. So again, this is ChatGPT taking my words and making them better.
I mean, that's just such a consolidated power line there.
Yeah.
Sleek, polished, body reflecting flickering footage of vintage racing history.
It's kind of poetic. Like, this one's got the glossy curves, capture the grainy black and white clips of legendary race cars speeding down the track. This is where it gets awesome. I love this part. The reflections ripple across the car's aerodynamic lines, distorting like memories replaying on a futuristic canvas. I was like, GPT, you nailed that one, dude. That's that's poetry.
I'm gonna send you a tip. What's your Venmo?
The dramatic lighting casts deep shadows with rim lights subtly outlining the contours of the vehicle, adding to its aggressive presence. Good word there. The atmosphere is cinematic and immersive, blending hyper-realistic automotive photography with nostalgic motorsport storytelling. There's a faint glow of static interference in the footage, bridging past and future in stunning visual composition. So there's not like a lot of technical direction. It's a lot more like narrative in that sense.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there's really not anything.
Yeah. No.
Which
So-
is incredible.
Which is why I liked this one, because it gave me some really great stuff. And I was just like, that one where it was like the reflections ripple, like distorted memories on a futuristic canvas. Whoever says ChatGPT can't write, come check out this GPT, because that one,
yeah, dude,
that's better than I've ever written a sentence.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's just so much there.
Insane.
It's not a whiz, but you know how to if you know how to prompt, you can get great stuff.
Yeah,
you can get great stuff with content. I don't believe that for a second.
So with that
LLMs
being
can't
said,
write.
I just started playing with that even more. I was like, oh wait, what happens if I want to use people as a canvas, right? So I started doing this kind of idea with like, oh, now I can do this whole idea of like modern and vintage and like projection mapping it.
Yeah. It's
if we
super
can
cool.
do it, like, let's do it. Like I was so into like, let me keep going with this. Like, where else? How far can this go? Like, how much cool footage can I get of stuff like this? I want to play around with this one a little bit more. Working on this project right now. I was doing it with I tried to do it with the space station also. I got
Dude,
some.
you know what you should do?
Please tell me.
Well, this could be an ad for the military. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like history with that, the future projection mapping, what you just had up. Like I could see that being an actual commercial, and then you could have different clips of sound coming from different moments within that period of time. Like there were plenty of speeches made, there were plenty of audio bites, there were plenty of sound effects, right? Like
Richard
man.
Nixon speeches, things like that.
Yep,
So I was thinking this could go two ways. Like it could look really cool and sleek, or I could put like elderly people in there, like old like vet soldiers, and have it like replay on them as if it's like memory, still
totally.
stuck in them, right?
Yep.
I was like, this is that one little rabbit hole of this car thing. I'm like, I could do so much like this now. So it's even some of the more fun stuff been playing with. I'm like, can I get more sort of like interesting composition? Like, can I get like I did one? I'm doing this fun little thing where I'm like kind of mimicking 1980s like stock trading floor, and I was like, can I get a shot from it looking like like when people those scenes where like people open the refrigerator and it's like you're inside the refrigerator looking out at them. So I wanted like a scene like that of like someone looking out from like the stock computer or whatever computers they were using back then, like looking at all their reactions as they're like looking down at it. And I'm like, can I get this? And first shot,
amazing.
It's like, come on, man. This tool is crazy. It's gonna. The thing is, like, I've seen people that have pushed it, right? I don't think I've seen like you've seen it with Midjourney. People push it to the nth degree. You've seen a lot of stuff with Kling, Minimax. It gets pushed really far. I haven't really seen it with Google yet because I don't think a lot of people have access yet. I think that's coming out pretty soon, but it's pretty crazy. Like I've only found a few things that it has trouble with. Basketball, number one. Anything sports related, just don't even try, everyone. If
that's what crushes me.
Yeah, just go do video to video then, because it's not going to be great. Actually, that's a good idea. Now I wonder if we could do video to video in like Sora or Runway, and say it's like like an NBA footage, and like turn it into like street ball footage. Like that'd be pretty interesting, because that's to me the only way you can do video right now, or sports is like video to video. None of it works. If you guys have something out there that's sports related that looks real,
I don't think there's anything out there. I don't think so.
I got a good golf club swing the other day. That was pretty impressive with Vay. I was just like, got a guy getting up to the tee box, taking a swing, perfect swing, didn't hit the ball. But,
yeah,
damn it, so much good stuff. But these, I would say, for anyone who's like, whenever these tools drop like suggested prompts, they've tested them. And there's a way that it works. I would have never prompted it like this with all the like the emotional sort of narrative driven prompting, but I just took enough of them to like sort of synthesize it and make it like, oh.
Well, see, that's the move. There are so many other pieces of becoming great at these tools beyond just the obvious. And that's why it's all connected. Your familiarity with LLMs and knowing how to use them. You've been doing that since the early Midjourney days when you were using Midjourney. So that's nothing new, but most people aren't going to do that. You know what I mean? So those are the unlocks that really make the difference at the end of the day. That's great, man. I love the outcome of those. They look great.
Last thing to tie that back to is to bring this all full circle. I did a bunch of those with I took those prompts because I was like, I like these prompts a lot, like especially the soldier ones. Like I'm going to run these through Midjourney and see what I get. And I was like, all right, Midjourney likes this too. Like some of this stuff I thought was really cool how it interpreted it. Like, obviously can't have moving footage on a face, but it can sort of take this double exposure layer in the film on top of it, which I was like, I'm down with that. I really dig that. So, I mean, that's another way if anyone is, again, you just want to play with this stuff, like this more narrative-driven sort of prompting where you just want to tell a story. You end up with some cool stuff. I was really loving how this stuff was coming
out
regardless. I might have to check that rabbit hole out now, too. And honestly, I put that prompt in Imogen, and it worked the same way. That prompt for the race car, like it didn't work on the image generators that well at all. I had to really, really try to doctor it to get somewhere. Even with Midjourney, it wasn't really flying. I probably need to use like a style reference or an image reference. But if it's that complex for an image generator, the fact that it could do that on a video generator is even more impressive. We'll see where we go with that tool. I'm personally very excited about using it. You get the most wow factor from
Just
that one.
give me. I need access to this. Not that I would actually have time to play with it. Let's be honest.
No one does, but you end up doing it because it's actually pretty fast. I would say maybe 90 seconds per generation, and you get 4 options, which is nice because the thing that it does, which is also very nice considering that it's only text to image right now, or text to video, is that it'll give you 4 scenes, but like the character is very consistent in every single one. So it's almost like you get 2 shots for the price of 1 with the prompt. So, and like I'd say like 3 of them are like really coherent to your prompt, and 1 tends to be like a little bit more experimental. This is just what I'm noticing.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got some streak to it. I got to play around with the image to video side of it. I haven't taken that sort of undertaking yet because I've been too obsessed with text to video, but it's going to be fun once it releases. Don't hate on me for having access. I had to do some real back channeling to get in there. But hopefully I'm okay showing the interface.
Yeah, I'm sure you're fine.
But anything else going on?
Anything else going on? Midjourney magazine.
Dude,
magazine.
Flex it.
There we go.
Flex it.
So issue 22, if you don't have it yet.
Would you look at that? The nun with a gun.
Nun with a gun. Finally getting the FaceTime it deserves.
Finally.
Yeah, just kind of like a cool moment, right? Like we've talked about this a lot. Just this period of time that we're in right now, also this podcast, you and I are going to remember this stuff for the rest of our lives. This is just like one of those things where it's like we've been in this stuff for so long. These little things on paper, it's like who gives a shit? But on the other hand, it's like this kind of cements like another core memory of this phase, this chapter, if you will. So yeah, man, it was super cool to see. And then obviously just thinking about things like your digital stuff in print, it's cool to, just even think about how that's going to continue to be cool to see because things are only becoming more and more digital, more and more synthetic in some ways. To get something tangible feels cool. Still, I haven't printed out anything that I've created other than something that a guy saw my stuff, had downloaded the guide. Like he printed out one of my pieces on a glass canvas. I've got it hanging up.
Really?
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing
cool.
I've got that is in print, So it's just like it's a good reminder because it's like we've created so much great stuff, dude.
Yeah.
We need to actually
now.
We need to do something. And you know what?
Take
Maybe
a
we
picture of that.
Maybe we should do our own little creator book.
I don't hate it. We could. One thing I would say is, like, if I was you, take a picture of that magazine, upscale it, get it blown up. Like, those are cool pieces to hang on the wall. With a
That's a
little
cool
text,
idea.
A little moralization. I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to give you like the InDesign file for that, so you might
Fuck
have to.
no,
work
they're
with
not.
or a
Jesus.
PDF version. But dude, I think that's probably you could play with that to get it the right way. I think it'd be pretty damn
That's a good idea.
good thing to put on the wall. Now that I'm looking at it, be like, yeah,
That's a good idea. Oh, one other thing before we head out. I am going to be in New York, and we're going to try to make something happen. I might have to adjust the trip. I was thinking I was going to have like another extra day to work in there. Now we might just have like one day to overlap between you and me. So
All right.
if we can make that happen, folks, we're going to try to do a live pod. I don't know. We're running it tight because I know you're also traveling on part of my trip too. That's why I'm saying that, right? We gotta see if it works out. But that's another cool thing that we would love to do if we can make that happen.
We'd love to do it. Maybe we, if some people are in New York, maybe we have a little meetup after the fact.
Yeah, there we
See
go.
If we can see if we can make something happen. It's coming quick. It's going to be here before we know it. Somehow February's halfway over. I don't even know how that happened. I don't even know it was February.
And if you're listening and you are maybe in the New York area by chance, right? This will be toward the end of March, last week of March. So yeah, we'll keep you posted on that.
We'll drop it on the channel. We'll drop it on something if anyone wants to come hang out for a little bit. But that being said, I think let's wrap this bad boy up.
Let's dip. We'll do something live for you guys next week. I know a couple people have been wanting to do that. It's overdue for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, go ahead and leave us with the hanger.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Cupid's Day. Like and subscribe, please.
Show us
As
some
is
love.
tradition. You know, throw a quick comment on there. Say whatever you want. Who cares? Share it with your friends. Share it with your mom. I got a text message today from someone who's like, "You've infiltrated my family. My mom's texting me about you." I'm like, and not from a friend. This is like from a work colleague or like a work. So I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what that means, but whatever. Like we said, share, like, subscribe, come back, hang out next week for live. Come hang out with us whenever we do something,
Let's do
in
it.
person, and then we'll, keep it rolling from here.
All right, brother, man. Let's get out of here. See you guys in the next one.
See ya.